great to be back on stage. Before you leave the room, I promised Abdul's demos this year are 10x better than last year, and we got rave reviews about last year. I think you've heard from other investors, you heard about AI systems helping out children. We've built out AI systems to build our future. We believe as early stage investors, you should be playing with the systems, understanding deeply what the products and use cases can be. And I'm very excited to show you some of the demos that we've built along this intersection of Web3 and AI. We are investing at the intersection of this. Some of the earlier comments around agentic finance, tokenization, stablecoins. We'll throw up some charts to look at this. We are very early stage investors, oftentimes pre-concept, pre-business plan, pre-revenue, pre-product type of investing. I want to start off with two adoption curves. The first one is on AI. As inference gets cheaper, AI adoption is accelerating. On the left there, inference costs, or the cost of delivering AI, 40 to 900x reduction per year. Similar to other technologies, when you see that drastic cost of reduction, you see adoption accelerate. On the right there, McKinsey survey of top firms, 88% are doing at least one pilot. About a quarter have rolled it out into production. Intelligence is becoming abundant. That's the first shift that we're going to share. The second shift, we kind of talked about earlier. Until you look at these charts, you can't appreciate how big the left chart is. Stablecoin supply, it's now 270 billion. This number really starts at 2019 and 2020. It was close to zero, and you see the tremendous growth there. On the left here, tokenization with MNT and Securitized, kudos to their efforts. This is from 2023 to today. Now it's a $34 billion plus market. Taken together, trust is becoming programmable. A little bit economic theory there, but trust is becoming programmable. And so these two adoption curves are creating this third trend of this intersection of Web3 and AI. As intelligence becomes abundant, trust becomes programmable, AI systems begin participating in the economy. Mark's last talk talked about AI systems helping kids, detecting body language. As it relates to blockchain, that naturally extends to how they become economic actors. We have three early data points on how this is being catalyzed. The left one is AI agent identity. 340,000 agents are now registered on Ethereum. Robinhood launched their blockchain 2 weeks ago. You're seeing an explosion of more AI agents coming onto the Robinhood chain. These agents are connecting to each other, to other software through a technology called MCP. Nearly 8,000 MCP servers out there. Abdul will show you how we connect our MCP agent-to-agent services. And then lastly, once you connect service to service between agents and agents, you kind of pay for what you use. In the olden days, it's kind of like paying for long-distance calls to Europe or something. But increasingly, you're starting to see agent-to-agent payments. Again, AI agents being economic actors. The data there, last 30 days, 75 million transactions, annualized payment volume of 250 million. Again, taking together these trends point to a broader shift around AI becoming economic participants. And then importantly, the role of Web3, again, blockchain, cryptocurrencies, and digital assets to drive that adoption of impact into our global economy. This isn't the first time that a technology has transformed economic participation. The Industrial Revolution amplified human physical labor. The Internet revolution, the dot-com revolution, connected people and sped up information sharing. The mobile revolution put the internet in everyone's pocket and made information available across different places. And now we believe with this Web3 and AI revolution, agents will create new forms of economic activity. I think a lot of people talk about AI automation. We've talked about AI augmentation last year. This year, we've built and seen AI economic activity. Again, bleeding edge frontier use cases that are happening right now. And so, as AI becomes abundant, we believe that expertise becomes scarce. I say this with a contrarian perspective. Not everyone believes this. Union Square Ventures just yesterday posted something different. They said, as AI and expertise become abundant, something else happens. They also build AI. We build AI. Fred Wilson team, they're top-tier venture investors as well. We have this thesis because of what we built. We've really looked at, how does a firm evolve along the 4 revolutions if AI systems now become massively abundant and mainstream. We believe expertise becomes scarce, and so by background and introduction, Decasonic is an AI native venture firm. We believe our expertise is scarce. I'm honored to have 5 AI native teammates. They all code. Many of you have met Justin, great at EQ, but tremendous at IQ in developing that code. Abdul, he also co-leads our AI investments, but much of the software you're seeing has been developed by Abdul and Justin. We have an AI engineer in Jordan, an AI native marketer in Asia. We've augmented them with 334 AI agents or AI teammates. Mark mentioned orchestrators. We have 15 orchestrators. We have 5 personas, 5 clones of the Decasonic human teammates, 5 chief of staff agents, and then 52 AI personas of experts. The team from NRF is in the crowd today. They helped us patent something around our expert network. Abdul will show you that technology is brand new. It's patent pending that we just filed 2 weeks ago. Our AI system captures 33 workflows across 6 investment stages. And again, another breakthrough technology that Abdul will show unique to venture firms would be our 130 skills that capture and codify that expertise. They do things from sourcing, screening, investing, adding value. They all are brought together in this AI operating system. So with that, I will let Abdul take over the narrative, talk a little bit more about the AI OS, and then the AIEP.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Paul. And AIEP, what it is that it's an extension of our AI OS that we enable to portfolio companies in order to allow essentially for Decasonic-specific, portfolio-specific, and personalized, customized collaboration between the 2 of us. It's very similar to the interface that we're going to show on screen right now. But I think this time last year when I was speaking here, and obviously maybe some of the individuals I recognize, some new faces, and great to see, and very thankful to all of you for being here, we stood at our firm at roughly 30 to, if I remember correctly, 45 agents, and it's great to scale over the past year, primarily driven by the rapid advancements we're seeing in the underlying tech, the increase in accessibility, and the orchestration of these entire systems being made much more adaptable, I want to say, interactive and accessible, and that allowed us to scale our system to 330 plus AI agents. And funny enough, over the past 2 weeks, I probably killed off 100 to 150 just from cleaning off the entire system. So these numbers are always dynamic and relatively changed over time.
Abdul is going to be demoing AIEP during the lunch session.
Yeah, it's funny. Every single time there's obviously new advancements that are available in AI. It allows you to specialize more AI agents and allows you to orchestrate a system much more effectively. So as Paul noted from our conversation, we continue to believe at Decasonic that expertise, and specifically both human internal expertise and external synthetic AI expertise, is really key to allowing both individuals, companies, enterprises to maintain durable advantages, even as intelligence itself continues to advance. Frontier models are being released, open weight models and open source models as well continue to follow. So what you're seeing on screen is our Decasonic AI OS, and you're seeing the AI teammates, human teammates. Both of them have both types of essentially expertise accessible and orchestrated from the AI OS directly. You're seeing some of our investment alpha related internal human expertise codified in the form of both markdowns for our AI systems and also documents for our human teammates, so they're always on top of them and they always review them. These are the 6 pillar edges when it comes to our investment alpha, and we primarily codify them, again, to allow our AI systems to access them on demand whenever needed and with the relevant expertise. Kai here is the orchestrator of one of our many AI applications, and what he's doing is leveraging the context associated with our investment alpha by being able to always access the most up-to-date one based even on our internal discussions and updating and updating that accordingly as well. In addition to the human internal expertise, we also created external synthetic AI expertise in the form of the 52 network of experts that you see on screen right now called RLEN, patent pending reinforcement learning expertise networks. What it allows you to do is essentially collaborate, access on-demand world-class experts in their respective domains within probably seconds. And we're going to show you right now the creation process for a new persona in the form of Mark Zuckerberg. This is going to take roughly 30 seconds to fully create.
I've set up a lunch with Mark Frank, so we're going to meet with him tomorrow and then codify and probably add him to our network by Saturday.
And now you're essentially seeing the process being created where Mark's image is generated. And now we're going to ask Mark more about his thoughts on prediction markets and specifically whether he would build or buy in the space and ecosystem. And I think in a typical Mark Zuckerberg-like fashion, response is he's going to build because AI is a differentiated edge that he has at Meta. And now we're going to expand this. We're going to bring in 20 panels curated from RLEN. We tell RLEN to go out there, find the best 20 that would be relevant to answer this question. And you see the stream of experts essentially answering here right now individually. End result is a synthesis, and the result of the experts essentially say 16 are for build, 4 are for buy, and this is a panel across investors, builders, founders, and different experts that we have within our RLEN network that allows us access to this synthetic AI expertise that we don't have codified internally from our human expertise as well, and it functions as augmentation. So the main thing to recognize is that expertise itself is valuable, and the unlock we believe at Decasonic is primarily the ability to deploy, scale, and orchestrate both internal human expertise and synthetic AI expertise.
Great demo, Abdul. I think our first demo is to show you that expertise can be codified within one firm. The larger opportunity is to see multiple firms start to codify their expertise and form a market, form an economy. And so that thesis, that thought logic leads us to how Web3 contributes 3 foundational capabilities for this coordination of expertise. Expertise will increasingly move across people. Abdul's personal AI agent will just talk to my personal AI agent. We're seeing that traction today. It's hit a tipping point with OpenClaw and other technologies related to that. But increasingly, AI systems will embed across firms. Web3 uniquely provides these 3 capabilities for that kind of world. Trust that enables confident decisions, coordination now is centered around value and how humans, AIs, firms create value together. And then finally, the frontier is now ownership. And Abdul and I have demos for the first two. It's so frontier on the last one that I think we could speak to our roadmap that we've been obsessing about over ownership of expertise. It's very tough. It's very tough. Abdul, first demo on trust. Trust, just to double down, enables confident decisions. As we've built out our AI, we all know they hallucinate. You give it the wrong memory, you give it the wrong context. It's junk in, junk out. But you give it identity, you give it permissions, you understand the provenance, you verify the opinions versus the facts, and then you could have outputs that drive to measurable outcomes. We're seeing this across many of our technologies. As the model layers get cheaper and better, we upgrade to get to better outcomes.
Now, one thing to also keep in mind is that the AI economy itself, in order for it to scale, whether it's individual human agentic participation, agent-to-agent participation, and even machines, as software AI starts to expand into the machine economy and physical AI forms, trust is needed as it forms the backbone of coordination and actually allows for economic participation. If there's no individual trust, if there's no agentic trust, if there's no sense of trust, then there's no participation in a marketplace, and ultimately there's no economy because there's no coordination. Now, the way that we scale our expertise internally at Decasonic is primarily in the form of skills or markdown instruction files that are essentially often provided to AI systems, whether they're agents, LLMs, other actors, in the form of, again, markdown files. And what they do is they provide our AI systems with guidance on expertise related to our workflows in order to codify both our best practices. And I think what we did very well at Decasonic is that we also have observability associated with our workflows that allows for proactive skill suggestions, but that's something that we're going to get through the demo. So what you see on screen right now is our AI action portal, and it allows for the discovery of 131 skills across the 4 functions that you see for both our human and AI teammates.
Abdul, let me pause you. For background, our action portal is our dashboard to operate our firm. You have 300 agents, they're spitting stuff at you. It's the Yahoo page where you click through and you wake up and AI's delivered outputs. It says, hey, go to this meeting and read this pre-read and prepare for this meeting. It's our synthesis across the whole firm of what AI's produced for us overnight.
Yeah, that's right. And you're also able to see that there are, generally speaking, 4 different ways to create a skill, and that's within our Agent Skills OS, either AI-generated, human-created, and at the same time, you're also going to see these proactive suggested skills from Kai, who's observing our workflows, our author notes, our conversations, and essentially having humans either approve or reject. And the 4th one is primarily popularized by marketplaces, including ClawHub. And what we're going to do here is we're going to take one of these skills and run it through our AI testing lab within the Skill OS.
I'll pause you there, Abdul. Look, we're codifying our internal skills. We invest in our humans to continue to learn and improve. We'll codify their improvements. You get rapid feedback. Sometimes I'm probably too harsh with feedback. You get that rapid feedback. It's documented. And then when we don't have expertise, we'll go look for it outside and bring it in. AI will suggest new skills. AI will go find something. We are trying to work with world-class founders, world-class investors. So therefore, we'll go search for world-class skills.
And if skills become abundant in nature, whether it's AI-generated, AI-suggested, then obviously the bottleneck shifts to trust, right? Because you need to be able to trust that skill to actually generate an output that makes sense and gets you closer to outcomes. And this is the foundation of our testing lab. Again, it has 2 different steps over here. One of those skills, NVIDIA Skill Inspector, it's inspired by NVIDIA, the NVIDIA team, amazing open source GitHub. But essentially what we do here is that we're taking the skill we found from the marketplace, running it internally across 4 different parameters that you're going to see on screen in order to assess whether or not the skill is a pass to our AI systems and whether or not it actually has something that could potentially be beneficial or risk averse for us. And the second test is going to be effectiveness, actually measuring whether or not there's an improvement from an output perspective that gets you closer to outcomes. And what the effectiveness test runs is it identifies a use case relevant to a skill. It identifies whether or not it successfully enhances the output for the use case. And you can see with this random skill that we essentially got from ClawHub, we were able to improve our skill by roughly 20%, or the output from using the skill by 20% to 4 from 3. This is all done by a panel of LLM judges in the back end. In the visual, you see this report directly for our human teammates to view as well.
Testing lab is a nod to my operating experience. It's an environment to run gyms and train up our agents, to buff them up, to scale them down. Abdul, I'll correct you. 3 to 4 is not linear. It could be exponential, too. I think 3 is a reject, 4 is use. And again, I think this is kind of the thinking we're going through, of applying a lot of our operating expertise, a lot of our thinking, a lot of what influences us, and just building it, just trying it out and seeing what happens. But that'd be a slight tweak. It's a step function improvement.
100%. And at the end of the day, there's going to be so many skills that you're going to be able to leverage, find online, you can build internally, and therefore even a 1-point difference on that 5 scale could be exponential to actually getting you to an output that is much more aligned with your feedback and with your own internal expertise. So we covered why trust essentially enables the AI economy to scale, primarily because it addresses the bottleneck of adoption, which enables coordination and enables economic participation. And now we're going to move on to...
So Testing Lab helps us with trust. We have a rubric, we have benchmarks, we have stuff to throw into Testing Lab to understand whether we could trust it or not. And as Abdul mentioned, even when you're alive as an AI teammate, you could be killed off if you're not trusted. Therein lies kind of the next primitive that Web3 enables, coordination. Coordination now creates value together. A design principle that we shared last year, just to repeat again, is we believe AI and humans should collaborate together. In certain workflows, AI will do 90% of the workflow, humans will do 10% of the workflow, vice versa. In other workflows, maybe it's 50-50, 90 human, 10% AI. So we believe that AI can augment humans. It's a different perspective than AI automating humans. And so we look at this collaboration of humans with their judgment and creativity, AI teammates with automation, analysis, decision support, contributing expertise, aligning with our 15 plus growing enterprise systems of data, dashboards, processes, operational workflows, new workflows, and then external services. Whenever we could rent and buy, we will go out and look for it and bring it into our enterprise systems. This expertise for us today is coordinated in our AI operating system. A lot of this can use Web3 technologies in the future. Abdul, I think I just got the 5-minute sign.
5-minute sign. We'll wrap up quickly here. And what you see on screen right now is one way that we enable coordination at Decasonic, and this is through our AI multiplayer chat. It allows for the orchestration and coordination across different entities, including human teammates, agentic teammates, skills, MCPs, files, knowledge bases that we have more broadly. In the back end is an agentic harness. On the front end is a chat interface with a singular orchestrator called Kai that we can interact with and is able to spawn sub-AI agents on our behalf as well. And what you should understand for the purposes of maybe this demonstration, future ones, MCPs, essentially a means of communication between two different systems, often referred to as a USB-C for AI agents from certain frontier model layer labs, and it came out of Anthropic. We're going to showcase 3 different MCPs orchestrating with our internal systems across skills, files, contexts, and our human teammates. And we're going to kick it off with Scenario, which does image and video generation as one of those MCPs, Orthogonal doing skills and API orchestration. Both of these are Decasonic portfolio companies, and Venice doing private AI use cases as well, probably very familiar to a Web3 and AI-centric audience. So kicking off the video, having a harness and essentially owning your system end to end allows you to select as many models as you want, and each one of those are specialized for certain use cases. I am going to start with scenario, and I'm going to ask it to create an image for me using Decasonic's context, knowing what it knows about our most up-to-date thesis and the use cases that we also envision internally as well. And you can see this on screen where the orchestration is happening, and an image is going to be generated in a second. Obviously, there's so much more that you can do from a feedback perspective to refine this image. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to ping my marketing manager, Ayana, in order to go ahead, apply Decasonic's branding and her expertise to enhance this image. In the second utilization of MCP, we're going to use orthogonal to research more on Prisma X, who's bringing robots actually on stage during the product showcase. So check those guys out, Decasonic portfolio company. And they're doing services layer for AI. A report is being synthesized and generated on screen. You're able to see it right now. And it provides you with essentially team information, description, and other information that we think is relevant from an investment perspective. So I'm going to go ahead and ping both Paul and Justin to actually take a look at these reports and write a case study on Prisma X. In our third MCP utilization for orchestration, Venice, what we're going to do, considering its emphasis on privacy, I'm going to give it access to my code base. And I'm going to tell it, knowing what you know about my code base, provide me with your recommendation for enhancements that I can do. And there's only some MCP files that you can even trust with a use case like this. And I'm pinging right now my essentially operations lead or AI operations engineer in order to take a look at this and provide me with his human recommendation as well. So coordination enables the AI economy to scale by primarily enabling orchestration. And one thing to tease out from what Paul said regarding our roadmap too is that we're actively working at Decasonic on predictive context and being able to write it on chain and being able to have agents leverage as well to take future actions.
The third capability for Web3, ownership enables economic participation. I won't go through the slide here. Brian mentioned the second order effects of the technologies of today that people are building tomorrow. One thing that Abdul and I were aiming to ship today, we got caught up in some of the nuances of the output and the accuracies and limitations and kind of capabilities of AI. The second order effect of prediction markets, predictions, would be how Abdul and I think about world states, scenarios of world states, how the world might look like in 3 minutes, 3 months, 3 years, 30 years from now. We've been testing out how outputs become outcomes, how we could build into those outcomes, and then how we could capture a lot of those world states, not too dissimilar from a video game of world states, into on-chain activity. I think so much of the world is headed towards building a future that the algorithms are starting to predict. You see model layer improvements of world models drive application people like us towards this direction. But ownership of world states will be something we're starting to consider how to mint onto the blockchain. Abdul, maybe fast forward to the last 2 slides, and then if there's time, we'll open up for a question. When AI meets Web3, expertise becomes portable. And then, in summary, we believe AI is creating new economic actors. Web3 provides that new economic infrastructure. And I think it's just such a great moment in time to be building and shaping this future.
Got questions from the audience?
Oh no, Eric. Eric's an AI guy.
Well, first of all, massive congratulations on this platform, just from the looks of it, extremely impressive. I'm curious, probably a lot of enterprises are asking the same question, which is ROI on AI utilization. So I'm curious, how do you define utility in terms of for Decasonic or just strictly for this platform? And then how do you measure return on investment, which is, I think, for everyone quite tricky these days?
I think Abdul and Justin work 7 days a week, 9 to 9. With the 334 AI teammates we have, I would say we probably have the equivalent staff of 20 investment professionals. We're a lean team of 3 investment professionals. One example would be our sourcing app. It used to take 2 venture investors 7 days a week to find 300 leads. Now it takes about 20 minutes. And so it's freed up a ton of productivity. Obviously, we don't run a P&L as a venture firm. Our outcomes are more investment alpha oriented. And so we do believe that the productivity gains are just massive.
And to quickly just provide some added context here, internal expertise that we showed, primarily the Investment Alpha Manifesto, is how we guide our AI systems, right? So it's provided to them as a context from a qualitative perspective. A KPI for a specific application, for example, sourcing might be how many of those leads made it to IC, or how many of those leads already are leads that we took a look at previously from other inbound channels versus relatively new Delta leads. And that's a way to measure KPIs. They're often application specific, and that's how we kill off or augment or add more AI agents to specific applications too.
Cool. Hey, I gotta move this along. Thank you, everybody.